everybody. I have a wonderful and special guest, Mindy McKnight.
Hi, guys.
Tell them a little bit about what you do on your channel.
So I have two channels. One is Cute Girls Hairstyles, where I just do hairstyle tutorials, particularly for moms with little kids. And then I also have another channel called Millennial Moms that's all about kind of parenting for the millennial generation.
Yeah, and I'll put all the links in the description, so hop over there and check it out because we've done videos over there as well. But today I wanted to talk a little bit about adoption.
Yes.
I have received questions from many of my viewers, and I guess to start it off, I'd like you to share a little bit about your adoption story. I know that you've adopted 2 children.
Yep.
So how did that come about? Because you have your own children as well that you've had with your husband, and then you decided to adopt as well.
Yes.
How did that come about?
So we have 4 biological girls, and then I experienced a secondary infertility, and we really wanted to have more, which I know sounds crazy, but we really wanted more. And I couldn't get pregnant after that, so we decided to adopt, and it's a very long story, but to make it very brief, we came across our kids very easily. Like, really, we put our papers in, and we got Dax in 9 days, and Paisley, we put our papers in and we got her, we matched like a month, and it took like 3 months, before the mom delivered. But they were both at birth. They're we're a transracial family now, so both of my children are African American.
And I think it's so amazing when families will open up their home to children and adopt them, because there are a lot of, I've talked about the foster care system and how broken it is, and a lot of people not being able to take care of children. I think that that's a really wonderful thing. The questions I've received from my audience are more along the lines of how to be a good adoptive parent and make sure that they feel the same and love the same.
Yeah.
I know that's a hard question.
I mean, it is, but it's not. And I suppose maybe it depends on the person a little bit, but at least for us, it was very easy. It wasn't hard. Like, our kids instantaneously loved them as though they were siblings. And in some ways, I always tell people, I'm like, in some ways, I almost love my adoptive kids more. And I know that's kind of you're not supposed to say that if you're a parent, right? But it takes a different set of miracles to get an adopted child to your home. Like, when you have your own kids, it's, you know what happens, and then they're there. You deliver them, and they're yours. And it doesn't take a lot of like work or effort typically. Yeah. But when you adopt a child, it's like a lot of, you're really putting yourself out there, and when you're meeting the adoptive families, and I mean, there's so much that goes into it that it really takes like all of the stars to align just right. So in a way, when you finally get them, you're like, you were really meant to be mine,
Yeah, like it feels like you've put all this effort in, all this work, and then you finally, like, everything comes together to give you the child that you were supposed to have, kind of. Yeah, I can imagine feeling that way. And as far as the other kids and everything, do you ever have to manage any angst between them, or it's been pretty seamless? It sounds like it's been pretty seamless.
It's been pretty seamless. I don't think we manage that, like, frustrations because they're adopted. I think that there's questions that naturally come up. My children don't look like me. They have a different skin color. And so it obviously is going to be a subject that we talk about, right? It's not something that's hidden in our family from birth. We've been very open about it. We still call their moms even like Mommy Stephanie and Mommy Jacoby. And for me, that doesn't take anything away from me. It's like my babies were blessed with 2 moms, and it makes them extra special. And so we very much go into it being just like, your adoptive families are just kind of another piece of our family, that we don't see like regularly or at all. But
But so they understand where they came from. Because that's the other question, and really the last question is, how do you have that conversation, especially because they're really young, and it's been since the beginning. So what are some of the things you say, or like verbalizing, like Mommy Stephanie? Or
we do. We verbalize. I mean, we call them Mommy. We talk about their family. We talk about their siblings as though they're part of their family. I really think my kids will want to have a relationship at some point with their family, and that's okay with me. So it's just like, it doesn't, I guess I don't feel like it takes anything away from me. I can still be their adoptive mom that raises them, and they can still have a biological mom, and that can still, we can all cohesively work together.
It's not mutually exclusive. You can't just have one. If you have both, it's almost like you got blessed with 2 families.
Right. We haven't seen either mother since we adopted our children, but one of the moms we keep in closer contact with because she wants a little more openness with us. So we text, and I mean, Paisley needed glasses, they thought, at school the other day, and I texted her mom and said, do you guys have a family history of glasses? And the mom was like, yeah, we all wear glasses. And I was like, oh, well, we better take her in then. So we have a really fun relationship where it's kind of like this mutual effort that's not at all obtrusive to me.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
And I think a lot of it may be like being able to understand roles in people's lives and not feel intimidated or like things are taken from you as a mom, because you can still be a wonderful mom. And we all have, I always call it like support systems and families like that. Those all are the same. And like you can have, it's great that you have access to that.
Yeah.
You know?
I love it. I wish we had more access with my son's mom. I really wish that was there with him too.
Yeah.
It's really fun. Like Stephanie texts me and she says, Paisley looks so much like her grandma. And I'll be like, send me a picture, you know, and she'll send me a picture and it's like, look, here's your grandma. Look how cute she is. And, you know, so it's very fun.
Yeah. And it's not lost heritage then. They still want to keep in touch. I think that's really great. Well, thank you for sharing your story. I know I get a lot of questions about it, and it's great to hear someone who's had a great experience and is still, you know, has an open adoption, I assume, to some extent.
I think it just depends on the situation. I do have to preface with like, if you were, you know, if you had a certain type of birth mom or there were drug issues or something that you thought was like scary about the baby, then maybe you wouldn't want to do that. But in our situation, it really was like emotionally devastating for both of these birth moms to place their children. They just literally could not take care of them. And they knew that the kids would be better. And so it's been really fun to still kind of have a little bit of an open relationship.
Yeah, and especially then they can kind of know that little bit about them. And I do agree, if it's safe for the child, you know, for them to have access to that, I think is a really great thing.
Well, more than anything, it probably just opens a dialogue, I think, that the child feels like they can ask questions if they have them without it being like, I'm going to hurt your feelings, mom, adoptive mom. You know, if I bring this up, I want my kids to feel like, no, I want to hear your questions. I want you to feel safe.
Yeah, and I would encourage any of you, if you're contemplating adoption or if you have an adopted child, I think having the conversation and letting it be an open discussion always is really important, so the child doesn't feel like they're taking anything from you or they can't talk about it, because essentially that's part of them. And I think it's part of their story, and changing the way we talk about that story, I think, could be really powerful, just like Mindy and her husband have done. Well, thank you so much for sharing. I think this is so helpful. And like I said, we did other videos on her channel. You can click over here to subscribe, and I'll have all the links in the description, and we will see you next time.
Bye. Guys.